What's up, everybody? Josh Armijo here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an Arsenal inventory update to do for you guys. Vinyl this time, and this is quite a major one that I'm going to be doing here. I honestly should have had something like this done months ago, but there were some missteps and mishaps with something like this getting on its way to me. I'm not going to get into too much details about that because I'm already over it. It's already in my hands, and if you haven't already noticed by the title of the video, today we're going to be talking about Sepultura. Of course, if you are a fan of death metal, thrash metal, or maybe even groove or nu metal, you would probably have an idea as to who Sepultura are and what kind of influence they've had in extreme metal within the last 3+ decades now. Incredibly influential band, very much a staple within the Cogumelo era of extreme metal. Unbelievable body of work this band put out within the first decade of their existence. And the box set I'm going to be talking to you about is something that was released, I think this came out through Rhino in 2017, and of course I am referring to this. This is the box set of Sepultura, the Roadrunner albums, 1985 through 1996. I have the records taken out of the box because I want to show you the contents of just what this box looks like first. First off, you have the S logo that you currently see on nowadays Sepultura releases. Pretty much the era of the band that I really don't care all that much for, honestly. But I like how this box looks. You have the S, you have the name, the title of the release, and you have the spot gloss that has the names of the albums that are on this release. There you see it on the spine here. Bottom with the credits and information. And on the back of the box, you have some more spot gloss and as to what the contents of this release are. You pretty much know that this is what's in here. And when I found out about this box set getting released, I was extremely excited because if I'm being perfectly honest with you, this particular era of Sepultura is, to me, the best and the finest hours of this band's body of work. Just really primal, really raw, really incredible stuff. And without further ado, let's get on to the first record of this box set, and we're going to start all the way to 1986 with the debut full-length from Sepultura entitled Morbid Visions. I believe this came out on November 10th, 1986, and pretty much we get some of the first real raw glimpses of what a project like Sepultura is all about. With their sound, with their creativity, with their primal instincts, it just really, really was something special. I mean, if you listen to the title track, and of course one of my all-time favorite Sepultura songs with Troops of Doom, you know what this band is all about. But let's not forget tracks like War or Funeral Rites or even the closer of the thing, Empire of the Damned. Just a really incredible debut full length. And you can tell that this was a band that knew what they were doing. They weren't fucking around with their sound. The vocals, the incredible riffs, just the drumming on this album really gives you an idea of what an early sort of glimpse into this band's death metal sound was all about. But anywho, and I should also mention that this also includes their Bestial Devastation EP, which predated this release back in 1985. Just some incredible stuff with that first EP. You got an early crude look at their first original logo, the artwork, just how everything stylistically was clashing with a release like that. The title track, Antichrist, Necromancer, just some amazing songs on that Bestial Devastation EP, and only more great things were going to be coming from this band in the later years. So anyway, here's the front cover, classic Sepultura artwork, back cover, band photo and track listing. I like how they try to keep it authentic to how it used to look with the old Road Racer logo back in the day. Now, of course, this originally did come out on Cogumelo records in the 80s. But anyway, all these records come with these really thin inner sleeves, very thin paper inner sleeves. There you have a black and white version of the Bestial Devastation artwork. And the opposite side of this, you have another band photo, credits, and information for this release. And all of the records I'm going to show you here are colored, and the first colored record on here is a very, very nice transparent red with black splatter. Really, really like the way this looks, and it sounds good too. I keep hearing mixed reactions from people about how this particular box set sounds. This first record sounds really good. I don't think this needed to be polished up or cleaned up or anything. The rawness of the first Sepultura release is definitely something that really needs to be maintained and stay where it's at. I really think that this is an awesome, awesome debut album, and I still think it holds up very well all this time later. Morbid Visions by Sepultura. I'm going to stick one record in at a time in this box here. Moving on, we move ahead to 1987 for the second full-length from Sepultura. That, of course, being Schizophrenia. I love this album cover a lot. But yeah, this was another turning point in this band's career where their music and their psychology began to mature a lot better. I love the fact that they changed things up just a little bit, but still maintain a death metal sort of vibe and approach with Schizophrenia. Listening to songs like From the Past Comes the Storms, Escape to the Void, Septic Schizo, and even another version of Troops of Doom appears on here. Personally, I prefer the Morbid Visions version of Troops of Doom, but here on Schizophrenia, I think this is a version that holds up on its own. It's a little faster, a little more manic, but still it has the classic old school Sepultura edge. But in hindsight, Schizophrenia is a more grown-up sort of sound for Sepultura. Once again, I love Max's vocal stylings here. I love the riffs. I love the bass and drum work. This is just a very well-paced, well-established sort of Sepultura record, and like the previous record, I still feel that this holds up very well to this very day. So, front cover, very iconic album cover art here. Back cover, track listings, credits and thanks. More old-school homages to Road Racer records on here. You got another paper inner sleeve here. This one you have a band photos, and this one has lyrics for all of the tracks that are on here, which I think is a very nice inclusion. And the color on this one is a very nice color, I should say. Slide that back in here. And this one comes on a very nice marbled blue vinyl. Really, really beautiful blue color here. I don't know if it's going to pick it up on camera, but if you put it up to a light, you can see there's definitely some marbling effects going on this record here. Love the Road Racer old school logos in the middle of the stamping here. Very, very cool, and also a very good sounding record too. Still something that holds up very, very nice to this very day. So yeah, another landmark album from Sepultura in the books with Schizophrenia. Now, time for me to slide this one here. Yeah. Bear with me here. Now we have another turning point in Sepultura's career, and we head on into 1989 with the third full-length from Sepultura, entitled Beneath the Remains. Yeah. To me, this is the best death metal album that Sepultura had ever put out. I mean, there's just so much involvement going on with this album. I mean, Inner Self is easily one of the best Sepultura songs to ever exist and to ever be created. It's just a really, really wonderful song, showcasing the strength and the power that a band like Sepultura had at the time. But other songs like Mass Hypnosis and Slave of Pain really showcase the kind of ideas that Sepultura were going for with their sound. You could tell that they were going to be making another shift change in their sound very soon, but with Beneath the Remains, you could learn to appreciate why the death metal era of this band really sounded wonderful. And with Beneath the Remains, this is another album that really holds the test of time and still maintains very good quality. Great production on here, great riffs, another fantastic vocal performance by Max Cavalera. The drumming and bass work and guitar playing on here is sensational. And I believe this was during the era when Andreas Kisser began to join the band. I believe he soon came in after. I think he was on, excuse me. Yeah, he was in Schizophrenia, and now he continued on forward with Beneath the Remains here. So, yeah. Sorry about that, but yeah. Front cover, very iconic album cover. I believe Full of Hell did a t-shirt mock-up of this artwork here, which is really fucking badass. Back cover here, track listing, credits, thanks. You got another thank you list. No, thank you list. Another printed inner sleeve, paper inner sleeve, very thin. I don't want to put the records in here, but I'm glad that all these records came with polyline sleeves to protect all of the records here. Lyrics and credits and all that fancy stuff. And this... slide it back in here, sorry. And this came on a very nice orange vinyl. Transparent orange vinyl. Once again, attention to detail with the Road Racer logo here. Very, very nicely done. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, another fantastic death metal album by Sepultura, Beneath the Remains. Definitely listen to this. And give it multiple repeated listens. Next up, we have another shift change for the band, and this is where I believe that they began to dabble in more groovy, thrashy sort of territories. And by groovy, thrashy territories, I'm talking about Arise. Yeah, this came out on April 2nd, 1991, and this is where I believe the band was beginning to change things up, not only sound-wise, stylistically, but conceptually, lyric-wise. You have a little bit more of a political sort of vibe and feeling going on here. Almost futuristic sort of ideas and thoughts going on with this band. But for what it's worth, I think Arise is a very, very well thought out, well planned sort of record. Songs like Dead Embryonic Cells, Altered State, Under Siege, Regnum Era, just some really, really strong songwriting and riff writing going on with this album. You could easily tell that this was a different sort of Sepultura record, but with Arise, I really appreciated the fact that they dared to try to do something a little bit different here, a little something from the norm here. But this really does do wonderful work here. I love the riffs, I love the grooviness, I love the thrashiness of this record. It's just an overall solid record. So overall, anyway, here's the front cover. Love this artwork here, has a bit of that Cthulhu, Lovecraftian sort of thing going on here. Back cover, band members, track listing. Another paper inner sleeve here. Yeah. One other thing I forgot to mention, that this was a change in when the band began to change up their logo just a little bit. Here on this paper inner sleeve you see the old Sepultura logo here, along with lyrics and credits and all that other fancy stuff. If I had to think of one complaint about this box set, I would have liked it for them to have nicer inner sleeves as opposed to these really flimsy, thin paper ones. But what can you do? And the vinyl color on here is a pretty cool one. It's a very dark sort of gold color. Once again, Road Racer Records tributes going on here with the middle of the record. Sound quality on this is very good in my opinion. I gave every single record on this a very solid spin, and everything I feel sounds good to me. I'm not really one of those sound sort of snobs. I mean, if I think something could sound better, I can just, you know, yeah, it's kind of hard to say really, but I appreciate this box set release any which way you look at it. But yeah, Arise, Sepultura, another interesting aspect of this band's career. And moving in even further into this band's body of work, we're going to move to 1993 now for a little bit of a conceptual piece from Sepultura. And I, of course, am talking about Chaos AD. This, to me, is the last real, genuine, thrashy, groovy sort of record that Sepultura put out. I mean, of course, you know one of their most popular songs would be Refuse Resist. You could definitely tell by listening to that song and how everything works on that song what type of a message Sepultura were going for. A little bit of a conceptual, political sort of feeling going with their records. An almost futuristic, tyrannical feeling going for it. Other songs like Slave New World, Biotech Is Godzilla, We Who Are Not As Others. I mean, this is just a very well-established and well-told sort of record. I love the concept of this album. It's just something very, very wonderful and special to listen to. And with Chaos AD, I believe that they really create something wonderful here. I love the storytelling aspect of this album, not to mention some really killer riffs and moments to be heard throughout this album. So anyway, here's the front cover. Very recognizable and iconic album cover art here. Back cover with track listing and the band photos. Yeah. Comes with another printed inner sheet, inner sleeve, whatever you want to call it. And there you have on this other side lyrics for all of the tracks and everything. Credits and stuff. Yeah, pain in the butt for all of these to get put in here. But the vinyl color on here is very awesome as well. And this comes on a very nice dark transparent blue with green splatter. Green specks, I should be more specific in saying. They look like specks, but I like the way this vinyl came out. I think this one sounds very solid. But yeah, another intriguing aspect of Sepultura's career with Chaos AD, where they began to get a little more conceptual and futuristic. Really, really solid stuff. But yeah, Chaos AD. And last but not least, we get to the last record in this box from 1996, and Scourge of Vinyl, I hope you're watching this, because I'm pretty sure that this is the part of the video that you're going to be the most excited for, and for some, this will be the most exciting part of this whole video. For others, not so much, but what can you do? Roots. Bloody Roots. Yeah. Released on February 20th, 1996, this is another peaking moment of Sepultura's career where things began to change sort of drastically in their lyrics, their style, their concepts, their deliveries. It's a very, very controversial record for some people because this very much deviates away from the Sepultura sounds that you best are accustomed to and familiar with. Some people love it, some people hate it. I appreciate this record for what it is, to be perfectly honest, because there's definitely some solid tracks, to say the least bit, on here. I mean, Roots, Bloody Roots is going to get stuck in your head no matter whether you like it or don't like it. But songs like Cutthroat, Ratamahatta, Dusted, Jasko, just some really, really fun songs to listen to on here. But I wouldn't say this is the best Sepultura album by any means. I obviously prefer their Cogumelo era and Beneath the Remains. Just some really awesome albums going there. But as far as Roots goes, it's going to be one of those flip the coin sort of releases for some people. Some people may love it, some people may hate it, but I do understand why this is an album that is influential to some people. This is an album that helped influence and pave a way for a lot of other people who want to get into stuff like maybe nu metal or groove or thrash, or even find their starting point. This is one of those starting point sort of records, I would say. So anyway, here's the front cover. Very recognizable album cover art here. Back cover. There, of course, you see another old school Roadrunner logo on here. And this comes with a somewhat glossy inner sleeve. I think it's funny that all of the inner sleeves had paper. This one is a little bit more glossier, which is sort of... I don't know why it was just for Roots, when all the other albums should have gotten something a little nicer. But yeah, very nice layout at least. Band photos, lyrics, very interesting looking inner sleeve, to be perfectly honest. Set it back in here. And this one comes on a nice, solid, groove-heavy red vinyl. Side A, Side B, Side 1, Side 2, whatever you want to call it. This one definitely is a good sounding record, to say the least bit. But yeah, controversial or not, Roots definitely does have a place in extreme metal's annals and histories, and this is Roots by Sepultura. And yeah, so overall, this is a really, really well-established killer box set. I'm very happy that I have this. This was definitely worth the months of waiting for something like this. And if you're a fan of the older era of Sepultura, this is definitely something worth owning. This was released as a 6-disc CD and, of course, a 6 LP set. Definitely try to get a hold of this however you're able to if you're into this era of the band. Yeah, Sepultura, the Roadrunner albums, 1985 to 1996. So yeah, I don't know if this is still readily available or not, but yeah, definitely be on the lookout for it if you happen to see it or not. So if any of you guys are into Sepultura, let me know. Do you guys have any favorite albums from this band's era of the Roadrunner years, the Cogumelo years? Favorite albums, favorite songs? Definitely let me know and let's talk about it. Have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel. Until next time, Army Hell out.